This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. Right, we're going guitar shopping again today, fantasy guitar shopping that is, in another video in the series about, what you would do with an imaginary windfall. We started off a couple of episodes ago with £100. What could you buy that was guitar related and that you could treat yourself with for £100? Last time it was £200. Well, guess what? It's 300 English or British pounds that we're going out to spend today. What would you treat yourself to if you'd had a little bit of a windfall? Maybe, a small lottery win, a scratch card or something like that, or maybe your Auntie Gladys. Everybody seems to have an Auntie Gladys, don't they? Maybe Auntie Gladys has, come up trumps and won the big jackpot at the bingo and she's decided to treat her favourite nephew. Whatever it is, you've got £300 in burning a hole in your pocket. What are you going to buy? Well, here's some suggestions. Okay, let's face it, us guitar players, if we've got a little bit of spare cash, the first thing we always start looking at is guitars, isn't it? Really, we're not going to invest in the sensible things. We want something that's new and shiny and guitar shaped usually. I'm not the world's biggest Strat fan. I don't dislike Stratocasters. I played one for many a year, but I just seem to kind of end up going more in the Telecaster direction. But there is no denying the versatility and the iconic status of the Fender Stratocaster, and if you want something that is out of the Fender stable and says Fender on the headstock, even in very small letters, then many would say, and I would find it hard to disagree, that you can't go far wrong with a Squier Classic Vibe Strat. If I was going to get one of these, this would be the one I would probably get, resplendent in that Hank Marvin Fiesta Red, fantastic looking thing. These guitars are, let's have a look at the spec. NATO body, maple neck, bolt on neck, obviously, 21 narrow tall frets, 5-way switch, as you would expect. Not strictly vintage correct, that though, is it? A Strat from the 50s would only have a 3-way switch, but I think we can all agree that the 5-way is a sensible update. 3 Fender designed Alnico single coil pickups. These guitars do sound nice. I had one in for review, oh dear me, ages ago now, and I had a lot of fun playing it. Fantastic little guitar, and as I say, in terms of getting an authentic Stratocaster, albeit with Squier, it says Stratocaster on it, that's the main thing, isn't it? There it is. In terms of getting something that actually says Stratocaster on the headstock, you can't really go far wrong from this. Yes, you can buy cheaper Squiers, but they won't have the quality pickups that these have in. There's still enough room in this guitar to mod it and upgrade it over the years. Like, for instance, the bridge block on these guitars is a little bit skinny and could do with something with a bit more heft to it. But that's the beauty of owning a cheap guitar. You can, affordable guitar, you can mod it, you can make it your own. Anyway, maybe you're looking for an amplifier, and these are absolutely fantastic. The Bugera V22 Infinium. Only 22 watts, but it's all valve, and I can attest to the fact that this thing is more than loud enough to gig with, because I went to see a band a little while ago, and the guitarist was using one of these, and he was plenty loud enough. It was a pub gig. It was a fairly big pub, but it was it was a big-ish room for a pub gig, basically, put it that way. Not mic'd up and easily competing with the loudest elements of the drum kit, punching through beautifully, and what a tone the guy was getting. As I say, it's a 22 watt all tube amp, and as you can see here, single channel. Now, many people will find that a little bit restrictive and start thinking, well, how do I go from clean to dirty? Well, the trick is with an amp like this, you set the gain as high as you need for your dirtiest possible sound, and then you just dial it back to clean on the guitar's volume control. It's a fantastic way of playing. It's like you've got a channel, an amp that has an infinite number of channels that range from kind of sparkly clean all the way through to head meltingly dirty. And then once you get used to playing like that, going to the old kind of binary option of having a clean sound and a dirty sound just feels a little bit like a bit restrictive. You've got let's have a look at the spec of something like this. You've got 22 watts, 3 12AX7s in the preamp, 2 EL84s in the power amp, digital reverb, equipped with a 1B12 turbo sound speaker. Nothing I can tell you about those. I don't know anything about turbo sound. I do know a lot of people talk about upgrading the speaker on this amp to maybe a Celestine or something like that. I have no idea whether the guitar player I saw using one of these amps had done that, but I mean, if you look at the ratings here, if it's an amplifier that sounds, kind of substandard with the included speaker, you wouldn't be getting like a 5-star rating on it. And for under 300 quid, it's a no-brainer. A fantastic little giggable, simple, old school analog, apart from the digital reverb, fantastic little amplifier. So definitely want to consider. Let's talk about effects next. Now we live in the age of kind of boutique pedals. Everybody's talking about the latest clone or the latest fantastic analog delay pedal or this or that or the other. And it's fairly true. If you turn up to a gig and you've got a pedal board that's got an old knackered looking tube screamer from the 80s and an MXR Phase 90 and an old big green Boss chorus ensemble, the CE1 pedal, then those guitar players in the audience are going to come and look at your pedal board as much as looking at your guitar. But if you're in a band where you have to go from a big ambient clean sound that's all kind of delays and reverbs and flange and modulation and all sorts of stuff, and then when it comes to the chorus, when it comes to the solo rather, you need to go to a nice tight lead sound with just a very slight doubling delay on it, no reverb, and a big fat dirty sound. You find yourself doing a Fred Astaire tap dancing routine, to turn various pedals on and off. Whereas something like this, as I'm sure you just program into one of the memory locations the combination of effects that you want with the settings that you want on those effects, save it, and every time you hit that foot switch, that's the sound that you get. And then your other sound is on another foot switch, and it's just one switch to go between the sounds. Whereas as I say, you'd be kind of dancing on multiple pedals to turn some on and some off with the individual pedal method of doing it. The downside of a unit like this, and it is a downside, is that you couldn't go out and buy one of these from your local guitar shop on a Saturday morning and gig with it that night. You do need to kind of wade through the manual and get it dialed in, and maybe have one or two gigs where the sound that you thought was going to work doesn't actually work, and it takes time to sort of bed in. But once you've got it, it's it's there, and it's a piece of kit that will serve you well for many a year. And as I say, cut down on the number of pedals that you actually have to turn on and off as you go through the gig. It makes the gig an easier experience, really, rather than having to worry about patch cables between pedals going bad and all that sort of stuff. Just get one of these, it's much easier, or something like this. Now, maybe you are interested in getting some great guitar tones for your PC. That's the way I tend to play most these days. And if we're talking about amp sim software, for me, the top one, the one that I use all the time. There's a lot of great ones that I've tried. Blue Cat Free Amp is a good one, and that's, as its name suggests, free. But the one I seem to keep going back to all the time is Positive Grid Bias Amp 2. It's just the amps. You're not getting any effects in this. You could get bias effects too, but frankly, I don't think the guitar amp sounds in Bias Effects 2 are anywhere near as good as just the core amp sounds in Bias Amp. It's a great little piece of software. I use it, as I say, all the time. You've got all kinds of tweakability in there. See if we can find out No, we won't bother kind of digging through the website, but trust me, it does loads of things. You know, you can essentially delve into the virtual amp that you've got dialed in, and you know, tweak it and mod the amp and do all kinds of things virtually. Of course, you're not poking around amongst high valve voltages in the real world, so it's entirely safe. Go away, pop-up. Yeah, great little thing. As you can see, only 131 quid. So I thought we had 300 quid to spend. Well, you could spend the rest of it on Guitar Rig. I tend to bounce between bias amp and Guitar Rig a lot of the time. I don't know about what DAW you use, but in Reaper it's fairly easy to use an amp model from bias amp and use effects from Guitar Rig. The 179 quid, by the way, for Guitar Rig, so you stick that on with the 131 for bias amp, and you know, you're around about that 300 quid kind of range, which is why I've thought of these two as a combination. The amps in Guitar Rig aren't bad, but I just prefer the ones in bias amp. I just think the sound, and more importantly feel, a little bit more authentic when you're playing through them. You know, they do have that kind of touch sensitive valvey kind of feel. But the effects, what often I'll do is I'll use like an amp from bias amp and a delay and a reverb or something from Guitar Rig, and just combine them, and if you've got the best of both worlds then, for me. Anyway, maybe knowledge is what you're hungry for. Last time in this series of videos I talked about getting guitar lessons. Well, how about guitar maintenance lessons? You can see here that you can go on a one-day guitar maintenance and repair course at Crimson Guitars, and what do you get for that? You get to learn all about doing truss rod adjustments, setting the saddle heights, cutting nut slots to the correct depth, setting pickup clearance, intonation, fret polishing, restringing and cleaning the instrument. All of the basic, you know, guitar maintenance kind of stuff. This is a course that will pay for itself in time, you know, because when you look at the cost of getting a guitar, you know, just a routine setup on it, if you've, like me, got a few guitars, then you know, getting those done every, you know, 18 months or so, every 10,000 note service, if you like, that cost can add up if you go into your local guitar tech. So a course like this will indeed pay for itself over the years, and you know, you get to meet Ben Crow, presumably, from Crimson Guitars, and you know, and shake his hand and maybe have an autograph or something. So yeah, that would be another option there, the one-day guitar maintenance and repair course at Crimson Custom Guitars. 250 quid, so we're under budget, but you know, maybe you could spend the rest on beer and curry, why not? So those would be 5 suggestions that I would come up with for if you've got about 300 quid to spend on something guitar related. A Squier Classic Vibe Strat, the Bugera V22 Infinium, some kind of multi-effects pedal, you know, programmable kind of thing like this Boss GT100, bias amp 2 and Guitar Rig, or a guitar maintenance course courtesy of Crimson Custom Guitars. Take your pick. So which would I spend 300 quid on? Well, in a sense, I think I've already cast my vote, haven't I? Because I've got Guitar Rig and I've got bias amp. But let's imagine I already had those, which I do. What else would I spend it on? The lure of that Fiesta Red Hank Marvin-esque Stratocaster might be too strong to resist. Although I would like to just go and have that full day's course at Crimson Guitars, because you know, I like to think that I'm pretty handy at setting up my own guitars and guitar maintenance. Usually, I should say largely, learn through trial and error, you know, ruining a lot of, well, not good guitars, but ruining a lot of not very good guitars in an attempt to make them better, and you learn from your mistakes. That's how I did it, but it would be nice to go and see what I was getting right, and maybe how I could improve my skills. So it might just be that one. Let me know what you would spend it on, if you have, you know, any suggestions yourself for what you would spend 300 quid on in a guitar related good manner of treating yourself, then please feel free to leave a comment down below. I'm always genuinely interested to hear what you chaps' take on all of this is. And that is pretty much it for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed the video and found it reasonably entertaining. All of the stuff that I've been talking about in the video today is linked down below in the description box, by the way, so you know, go and check them out for yourselves. These aren't affiliate links. This is just me sharing stuff that, you know, I was genuinely interested in and thought looked cool. So, you know, I'm not pushing any agenda here. As I say, that's it for today, folks. If you've enjoyed the video, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so, and why not give me a like while you're at it. Don't forget the live stream tomorrow, Friday, 5 PM. I know I mention this in every video, but I'm getting new subscribers all the time, and there's always a chance that somebody's watching this for the first time and didn't know about the live stream. Basically, 5 PM every UK time, every Friday, we drink beer and talk about music and guitars. It's a fantastic way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thanks for your time, folks. Look after yourselves. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.